Pond Hockey doesn't charge a dime until you win. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Hockey a call.
When you're looking to play, Bet Rivers will make your day.
Take a chance, you'll see.
You like slots, we've got lots. Blackjack, roulette, take your shot.
It's where you want to be.
Bet Rivers Online Casino is your home for chance. With hundreds of slots, live table games, and more. Bet Rivers Online Casino. Check out the app.
Take a chance.
Must be 21 plus and physically present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Void where prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Dad, I gotta come clean about something.
Okay.
I only paid for a brand new Hyundai Tucson.
Oh, you might be on the naughty list.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Lease a Hyundai Tucson SE for $219 a month. Or get 0% APR for 60 months plus 0 payments for 90 days. Offers end January 2nd. Call 347-746-0955 for details.
This Eagles season, get in the game at Acme and enter their Swoop In and Win sweepstakes for your chance to win Eagles tickets, autographed jerseys, helmets, or more. Download the Acme app or visit acmemarkets.com/swoopinandwin for more details. Plus, save 5% when you shop on game days wearing your Eagles apparel. Acme makes sure Eagles fans have all their game day needs. Don't miss the featured football items of the week. General Mills cereals, buy 2, get 2 free. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hey, Birds fans, it's the Little Caesars Pizza Pregame Challenge. Enjoy your Little Caesars favorites and earn our best game day rewards. Open the app, accept your challenge, complete your challenge, and earn your reward. Accept, complete, earn, repeat. Little Caesars, official pizza of your Philadelphia Eagles. Pizza. Purchase required for reward eligibility. Must be 18 plus and legal resident of the 50 U.S. states, including D.C., and have an account on the Little Caesars app. Available in the Little Caesars app only and at participating stores. See littlecaesars.com/challenges for details.
Dear Eagles fans, Toyota's a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and official automotive partner of the NFL. The Toyota Corolla and all-hybrid Camry make big plays with style and efficiency. RAV4 is a versatile game changer. Highlander's got room for your whole squad. And the rugged Tacoma and Tundra control the line of scrimmage. Visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia. Sports Radio 94 WIP presents the Eagles Radio Network. The Eagles routed the Raiders.
And it is complete. Touchdown, A.J. Brown.
Now they head down 95 to clinch the division.
Opportunity to go play a well-respected opponent on Saturday.
And face their rival, the Washington Commanders. Today's game is sponsored in part by PNC Bank, Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers, Verizon, and Piazza Auto Group. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Welcome to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Alongside Hugh Douglas, I'm Joe Giglio as we get set for a chance at a clinch today. The Eagles go for an NFC East title. 9-5 Eagles, the 4-10 Commanders. Elliott Shore-Parks will join us live from D.C. coming up, or I guess Landover, Maryland, coming up in just a few minutes. Hugh, how you doing?
I am great, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm good. We're going for a clinch. Are you ready? That's the question.
You clinched? You ready to clinch?
It's Clinchmas. That's today. It's Clinchmas, Hugh Douglas. Are you ready for Clinchmas?
Yeah, I guess I am.
Well, all right. But, before we get to everything else, and obviously the game in particular, Hugh, the accomplishment of doing this, I know the Eagles have become one of the best teams of pro football. They're coming off a Super Bowl, right? They're in a high stratosphere among all NFL teams. So typically when you have a team like this, you don't celebrate a littler thing, right? Like winning a division title. But Hugh, as you know, and we talk about it basically every summer, no team has won this division in back-to-back years.
It's been a while.
Since you were playing. We dug up audio this week of Hugh Douglas in the locker room after the last time the Eagles won a division. So it's obviously been a long time. Hugh, what would it mean today for the Eagles to wrap this thing up and win back-to-back NFC East?
What do they need to do today, though?
No, what would it mean to do it?
I thought you said what it would mean. It means that you have one of the goals that you set for yourself down for the season. I'm pretty sure Coach Sirianni, because this is what it was for Big Red, even though, we didn't win a Super Bowl, win the division first.
Yep.
Right? Get home field advantage if you can, and then go win the Super Bowl. So it's kind of that's kind of the mantra, and I'm pretty sure it's probably the same thing. Win the division first. That means that you're in a good position. You won a lot of football games. So now you try to get that home field advantage, which, if you're not the number one seed, you're probably not going to get. So, and then go win the Super Bowl. So they got they checked one off the list, and they still have one more that they could actually get.
Yeah, I think, and look, I know the division this year is not good, and we probably don't have another team that's going to get to the playoffs, so the Cowboys will be eliminated if the Eagles take care of this. But I still think it's an accomplishment to win this division in back-to-back years. It hasn't been done in song, even with excellent Eagles teams. It's just been hard for any team to find a way to do this in back-to-back years. So it will be, and it would be an accomplishment when the Eagles finish this off. It could be today with a victory. All right, Hugh, let's talk about the opponent and what we're expecting today. So, Hugh, on paper, we got a 4-10 Commanders team that has been out of it for, let's be real, a while, right? Like,
they haven't been good.
I'd say a month and a half ago, we realized they were dead. They're not going to be a playoff team this year. And then a few weeks ago, they acknowledged it because they shut their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, down after a season of all sorts of injuries. Hamstring, knee, elbow, totally a disastrous season. But I will say this just from watching them from afar. Hugh, we've been watching the NFC East Hard Knocks, right? We talk about it on the show. Mm-hmm. They don't strike me as a team that has quit yet. They're bad, right? And the Eagles should beat them because they're bad. But I don't get a sense the Commanders are ready to lie down in this game. I think it's a division game. They seem like they're still playing hard for Dan Quinn. Last week, watching the Raiders, and we had a guest on before the game last week from out in Las Vegas, he kind of alluded to us, this team's playing for a draft pick. I don't get the sense of that watching the Commanders. I think the Eagles are better. They should win, but I think the Commanders are still playing here.
They're playing to be the spoiler.
Yep.
Joe, and that's the way you have to look at this. And I know what we look like and how confident we are going into this game, but you can't let your guard down. Dealing with a team that you are eerily familiar with, they're going to come and they're going to play hard. So if you're not ready to play this game thinking that, they don't have anything to play for, then you're already behind the 8 ball. So you need to come into this game ready to go because the Commodores are going to be ready to play.
All right, what do you take away from what happened last week? It was one of those games where, if we're coming in here off of a 31-0 victory, most games that way, right? If that ever happens, let's say it happens again today or next week or, whatever, it's almost like, whoa, the Eagles are back. Hugh, that feeling this week has been tempered a little bit because the Eagles did beat up last week. Maybe right now the worst team in the NFL in the Las Vegas Raiders. I know they're among the bottom teams, but that team was obviously really bad. Doesn't mean what we saw last week doesn't mean anything. It does, right? The defense has been dominant. They're up front, they were dominant, and the offense started to use a lot more under center. Hugh, how much of what you saw last week do you think is real? Does it matter?
I think it always matters. And the thing that I always hang my hat on is the fact that, even though the Raiders are playing for a first-round draft pick and they did give up, you got to work on you then. My coach used to always say in college, if they're bad, beat them because they're bad.
Yeah, they did that last week.
And if it's an opportunity for you to number one, keep guys healthy and work on certain things you can't work on any other time, then you do that. And I think that's what happened last week. We saw a small sampling size of that in the Los Angeles game. And then you build off of that. I think that this offense has evolved. It's a lot later than you would want it to evolve, but it's evolved to the point where out of necessity you have to do different things. And they did them pretty well. So this week I'm expecting them to build off of what they've already started with that Los Angeles game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are wondering if it's going to look like it did last week. So last week the Eagles were under center with Jalen Hurts more than they have been at any point in Nick Sirianni's entire tenure. They had more under center snaps last week. And Hugh, people have been calling for this for a long time, right? Diversify the offense. Don't always be in shotgun. Yeah. You have more runs. When we have Jason Avant on our show, on the midday show once a week, Jason always references that and also Ross Tucker as well, right? Former offensive players. They understand the schematics of offense. They always say to us that under center, you have more of a variety.
Yeah.
Right? In shotgun, it's like there's only so many different kind of running plays you could do, and defenses realize that. Hugh, I'm wondering today, not just how they're going to play, but how it's going to look. Do you think that was the start of something last week? That game, the Chargers game, in terms of, is under center going to be our new offense?
I think it should be because just like they said, now thinking back on the way that they presented it and the way that I look at things as a defender, if you're in shotgun, to me, in my mind, that's pass, like all day. And that means that I can work my way up the field. Now, I can play the run on the way to the pass,
right,
but I can also see that action because it all depends on where the back is offset. You can offset him to either side, and you always have that threat of that draw, but we're working our way up the field. And when you talk about the linebackers and things of that nature, it's easier for them to react because they can see the handoff better so they can get in there if it's a run play and stop that a lot quicker. But, man, when you come from under center, and you have to make sure when he's that action, especially if you're the backside, if you got a quarterback that's right-handed, you got to remember as a backside defensive end, his back's turned to you. So you have to wait for that handoff. You have to wait to see if he actually handed it off because if not, if you knife in there and he get off on a naked boot, you're in trouble. So it gives you a lot of more variety of things to do, especially when you have a quarterback of Jalen's caliber that can pull it down and run it.
Yeah, for my money, it's the second time this year we've kind of moved in this direction. It happened in October. The Eagles did a lot of under center against the Giants when they blew them out in October here, and it was like, this is the new Eagles. And they didn't stick to that in the month of November. We'll see if this time is different and we see more of it. And then here, the other thing from last week that we're looking forward to today. Did you ever think you'd see a defense, not just the Eagles, any defense, hold an opponent to 75 yards in a football game? If you had told me before the season the Eagles would hold an opponent to 75 yards, even if you said it was the Raiders, I'd say, come on. I mean, even in a normal dominant effort, it's like, 100 and something yards. 75 last week? That was remarkable.
I would think immediately, they quit. I mean, because you can only, it's hard to only get 75 yards.
It feels impossible.
It's hard to do. But listen. That's what they did. I'll take it all day. And it gave us an opportunity to get our offense, going in the right direction. So I'll take that all day.
Yeah, and look, it's all three levels right now. The defense comes in playing. I mean, they played well in that game. They lost to the Chargers. That was not their fault. I mean, the offense obviously turned the ball over and over. But the defense the last couple of weeks, they've been getting to the quarterback. And I'm impressed, Hugh, that they're doing it without Jalen Carter, who, again, will not play today. We'll see when the Eagles get him back with the shoulder procedure he had. But I'm just so impressed, Hugh, watching some of these guys grow. Jordan Davis, who we talked about all season long, and Quinyon Mitchell, who might be an all-pro, Cooper DeJean, and the guy that you've been highlighting a lot, Nakobe Dean. Like, these young defensive players, Hugh, it feels like every week they get better and better. Throw Alex Hunt in and Jalen Phillips. This defense is really moving in the right direction here.
Cohesive unit, man. They're playing like a cohesive unit, and they are really, for the last 2 years, they've been the backbone of the Philadelphia Eagles. They've been the ones that have been, front and center as far as, keep us in the games. Now, the offense has had their time, but, man, when I think of this team, I think of it being driven by the defense.
Yeah, it has been. And today they're going to face a team that's pretty good running the football. They're going to face a backup quarterback, one we know well in Marcus Mariota. All right, coming up on the other side, Elliott Shore-Parks will join us from down in Landover, Maryland. Is today a style points game, and do we expect the offense to pick up where it left off last Sunday against the Raiders? We'll hit all that next. Elliott joins us. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
It's the year-end sales event with the Ford crew.
It's sales event time, Sam.
Temperatures are dropping, but the deals are just getting hot.
Time for our annual Ford Holiday Gift Guide.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to go wrong with great deals on trucks and SUVs from Ford, America's all-time best-selling auto brand.
Don't forget the first rule of holiday gift giving, Hank.
What's that, Sam?
Always remember to treat yourself, too.
Well said.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Hand & Stone has a secret that turns one gift into two. Buy one massage or facial gift card for $150 or more and get another $50 gift card free. Check 2 people off your holiday list with just one purchase. This holiday season, the best gifts create moments of pure relaxation. Visit your local Hand & Stone spa or handandstone.com today.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Call a Giant HVAC company and they'll screw you. This is Jonathan Cans, third generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Are you sick of HVAC companies coming to your house and finding 3 bogus repairs? They are lying. My grandfather started Marvin E. Cans 72 years ago and treated his customers like family. 72 years later, we're still doing the same. To schedule your winter service so you are not out in the cold, contact Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. That's Marvin E. KANZE.com.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Have you always wanted an attractive, healthy smile? Well, PI Dental Center is the place for you. I've been a patient for 24 years, and PI Dental Center has been transforming smiles for 38 years. Board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, perform complex dental makeovers with their Teeth in a Day protocol, where dental implants are placed and restored with fixed teeth in just one day. If you're looking for a smile that's monumental, trust PI Dental Center. Visit PIDentalCenter.com. That's PIDentalCenter.com.
When your heater takes a holiday during the holidays, don't panic. Horizon Heating and Cooling's here. When you're juggling shopping lists, dinner parties, and who's picking up who at the airport, the last thing you want to hear is,
"Why is the heat not coming on?"
no sweat. Call Horizon for our no emergency fee service and unbeatable savings. And right now, get up to $5,000 off a next-day HVAC system install plus flexible financing. Book horizonservices.com today.
The working families of La Una Neighbors District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Neighbors District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Neighbors, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund. It's a long season, but one thing is sure. Birds football is sure to make your heart skip a beat. But that flutter you feel in your chest could also be something else, like AFib, atrial fibrillation, a serious heart condition that needs expert care from an all-pro team like Deborah Heart and Lung Center. One thing is certain, all season long, Team Green is sure to make your heart flutter, maybe even skip a beat now and then. Just remember, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org. Go Birds.
In Philly, the field is sacred, the fans are family, and the energy unmatched. And Lincoln Financial gets it. Since 2003, we've stood with the Eagles through brotherly love and brotherly shoves. And for 120 years, we've been helping Americans with retirement, protection, and workplace solutions built to last. Lincoln Financial, the name behind the link. Learn more at LincolnFinancial.com. Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2025.
Celebrate the Philadelphia Eagles' historic World Championship victory with the official fan jewelry collection from Jason of Beverly Hills. Shop everything from rings and necklaces to bracelets, earrings, and more. All inspired by the 2024 championship rings worn by the team. This exclusive collection honors the heart, grit, and glory of the Eagles' triumph on football's biggest stage. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of Eagles history. See the entire line now at jasonofbh.com/Eagles. This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio, and joining us now live in Landover, Maryland, is Elliott Shore-Parks as we get set for the Eagles going for a clinch. Elliott, how you doing?
What up? How you guys doing today? Let me tell you something. There's a lot of bad stadiums in the NFC East, MetLife being one of them. This Washington Stadium is legitimately the worst stadium in the NFL, but already plenty of Eagles fans piling in for this game.
So I've heard this a lot, and people have said this. It's one thing to be bad for fans. How about your perspective? Like, is it even a bad view in the press box? Is it just like dull? Like, why does it stink so much?
It's bad for everything.
Yeah.
You can just tell. It feels like every time I'm here, there's something leaking from the roof or something along those lines. So, it's the annual trip. Not a good view from the press box. Here in Merrill's booth right now, seems like he's got a decent view. I'm sure he'll do a great job regardless.
Well, Elliot, that made when you said things falling apart, it made me think, what was it? I guess 4 years ago, Jalen Hurts' first year as a starter, full year as a starter, 2021. The Eagles clinched a playoff spot right around this time of the year in that stadium. And what was it? Remember the part of the stands almost fell on Jalen as he walked off?
The gate, not just the stand, like part of the gate collapsed with probably 20 fans falling down. And Jalen just barely missed Jalen there. So, that was a scary moment.
Yeah, it was a early view into his poise, though. He didn't even, blink. The rest of us would, screamed. He just, kept walking like nothing happened. All right, Elliot, let's talk about today. Yeah. A chance at a clinch and a chance to build off of last week where they dominated the Las Vegas Raiders. Elliot, let's throw a conversation in that we tend to have when they play bad teams. Sometimes we're all on the same page, sometimes we're not. Is today a style points game? Is today a game to run it up, to play well, to put up some big numbers against another bad team?
Yeah, I think it definitely is a style points game. And I don't think it's so much about what we need to see, what the fans need to see. I think this is about what the players need. I think they need to feel like they are able to stack positive games and positive reps on top of each other. So much this year, it felt like it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, like shooting themselves in the foot, penalties, struggling on offense. Passing game is good one week, struggles the next week. Solid week, running the ball one week, next week they can't get anything going. So I think today is about showing that leading into the playoffs, the players themselves can feel confident that they are stepping in the right direction, because it certainly is an opponent where they should be able to do that. Washington is not as bad as the Raiders. There's probably not a team in the league that's as bad as the Raiders right now, but they are a team that you should be able to get going against or continue that momentum. So, look, if they win today, they clinch the division. It's hard for me to say it's going to be a win you don't feel good about, but if we're, talking later this week and watching the game today, and they win this thing like 19-13 or 13-7 or whatever, no, I think that the mood of this offense won't be great, and the mood of the team is dictated by the offense.
I know this is a game where you can actually pick your poison because they're not that good against the run or the pass. But if it was you, Elliot, how would you attack this Commodores defense?
So it's a great question, because on one hand, I think you want to do what you're going to do the rest of the season, which is run the ball. And they got something going last week. The running game was not great statistically, but I think we all agree watching it, the running game was effective. They controlled the game through the ground. They got positive yardage on first and second down. So I kind of think they should come out today and try to keep momentum going in the running game. But I think the Washington pass defense, that back seven, is absolutely horrendous. I mean, they're missing players. They're one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. A.J. Brown always has a big game whenever he plays Washington. He's averaging almost 100 yards and a touchdown during his time with the Eagles when he plays Washington. So I understand wanting to come out and run the ball, and I kind of think they should just go with the blueprint of what they want to do the rest of the season. But if you just go opponent-specific, I do think this Washington secondary is there to be taken advantage of.
All right, let's jump off what you said there. Kind of go with the blueprint that they might want to do the rest of the season. And I'm with you on that. But there's one variable that is interesting because it's not something they have to do every week, and they may want to save for the postseason, especially off of last week. And that's Jalen Hurts running, Elliot. So I was surprised, and it's a good surprise that he was not on the injury report this week. That he was, fine by that standard, and the ankle and knee and didn't have any sort of ill effects from Sunday. But that didn't look good. And we've seen late in the season he's been banged up before, including last year with the concussion down in Washington. Elliot, let's say the plan today is to run the football a lot. Should they include Jalen Hurts a lot in the running game? Because I just keep thinking the time of the year they're at and where they're at in the standings, I don't think they really need to run him to achieve their goal to get to the postseason and win this division. Obviously, if they want to win the Super Bowl and win in the playoffs, they're going to need his legs. It's always a big part of things. The question is, do they do it now, or do they just kind of back off after a scare last week? Where you come down on that?
Yeah, so I heard Jason Kelsey earlier in the week. He was on with the morning show, and he said basically you got to get reps doing it, right? Like you have to get in-game reps of running Jalen. And I understand that. But I would also say that ultimately, I am not risking Jalen's health in a game like this. You should be able to win this game without running Jalen. And the flip side of doing it today is you do start to show more and more of the package of plays you have running the ball. And I don't know if you need running the ball with Jalen. I don't know if you need to do that in this game. I definitely think, without question, this offense is better when Jalen is running. I think the players will tell you that, especially the offensive linemen who love when Jalen takes an extra defender with him in the running game. Even if he's not running it, if he's running it enough, a defender will pay attention to him. That takes one away, one less player for them to block when they're running the ball to Saquon or Tank Bigsby. So I do think there is real benefits of him doing it. But when he went down last week, their season flashed before their eyes. Like, they're not winning the Super Bowl without Jalen Hurts. They're not going to do it. So I think you still need to go with protecting him today. And I'll even say, looking out on the field, the field does not look in good condition. You can already see parts of the field that looks like they've had players run on it a bunch. The mud is starting to show. It's not a great field here at the Washington Stadium. So I would be cautious with Jalen.
Hugh, where do you come down on it? I mean, it's one of those things. It's always in the back of all of our minds. How often they run him, how much. But we're late in the season, and Maybe it's because they're in that building. He got hurt there last year, got the concussion. Almost, let's just call it an almost injury last week, right? Because he came down, he was hobbling. He's okay now. Would you back off running him the rest of the season?
Nope, can't be afraid, man. I know he's one of the most important guys out there on the field, but you can't be afraid.
But you could be
to
smart.
Do your thing. No, it's being afraid. Like I don't know any football player that I've ever played with that goes into a game thinking about an injury. Even if you coming off an injury, it's not a part of the game.
But the coaches might have to think about it, right?
Well, if he's your biggest weapon, why are you limiting your biggest weapon? And Elliot just said it. We're going to need him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I need Jalen to be clicking on all cylinders in the playoffs. So if that means he has to run the ball, and I'm not going to run him, he's not going to get 15 to 20 running plays.
Yeah.
But if he has to run, then run. Do what you need to do to win this football game.
I also think we're overestimating a little bit how much he ran it last week. Like, there were probably only 2 to 3 designed runs in that game. Like, there were sneaks, which he does every week. There was a few runs he had where the play broke down, but he only had, 7 carries last week?
Yep.
I think less than half of those were actually designed runs. So, I see Hugh's point about getting Jalen to click on all cylinders. I also do think he plays better when he's just playing free and he's not thinking about things. But ultimately, the coach's job is to get this roster to the postseason as healthy as possible. You look around the rest of the conference, like, players are getting hurt. Devontae Adams is hurt. Micah Parsons is hurt. Like, the Eagles, one of the major advantages they could have going into this postseason is health. If Lane can come back healthy, if Jalen Carter can come back healthy, they might enter the postseason. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would it be all 22 starters on both sides of the ball if Lane and Jalen Carter play?
If Makuba comes back.
Oh, Makuba. So, so he won't. So 21 out of 20. So, but still pretty good. So I do think Hugh's right. Like, you got to let Jalen be Jalen, but it's the coach's job to protect this roster. And as much debate as we have about how important Jalen is to them winning, they're not winning the Super Bowl with a Tanner McKee that's never started an NFL game. Certainly not a playoff game.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts' health and play is what's on the menu, sponsored by Hatfield. Better Care, Better Pork. Head to simplyhatfield.com to find a retail location near you. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about the NFC, where the Eagles sit, the implication of today, obviously for the division title, seeding, what we saw on Thursday night, where they sit now in the hierarchy of the NFC. We'll get to that. A lot to discuss as we get set for the Eagles and the Commanders, a chance to clinch the NFC East for the first time in back-to-back years since Hugh Douglas was on the field. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Football is all about protection. Protect the ball, the QB, the lead. With Penny, PA's official health insurance marketplace, you can protect yourself with high-quality health coverage, so you're not blindsided by medical bills. It's open enrollment time for all Pennsylvanians to apply, shop, and enroll at penny.com. That's PENNIE.com. Deadline is January 15th. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hey, it's Devin Caney. If you've seen me on the sidelines this season, you've seen me repping my custom Cozy Jewelers pieces. Paul Cozy created them just for me, and I absolutely love them. I wear them all the time. What I love most is how Paul really listened to me and crafted the exact pieces I was hoping for. You can give that same one-of-a-kind gift to someone special this holiday season. Just stop into Cozy Jewelers and talk to Paul. He'll design something truly unforgettable. Step up to the 5th C. Color, cut, clarity, carrot, and cozy.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese. My wife Cindy and I had a new roof installed by Impriano Roofing, Siding, and Windows, and we're delighted. When it comes to your roof, good planning is essential. Jack Impriano and his 4 sons are a true family business, serving our area for over 5 decades, using only the best CertainTeed products. If you need a new roof, call Jack Impriano Roofing. Online at Impriano.com. It's good to hire Jack and his team. Remember, the best homes have an Impriano roof.
Piazza Premium Automobiles is proud to serve as the halftime sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network as the team drives for another championship. Experience the ultimate luxury in a newer certified pre-owned vehicle from Piazza Premium Automobiles with exclusive brands like Land Rover, Jaguar, Porsche, BMW, Infiniti, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and Mercedes-Benz. You are sure to elevate your drive. Find the Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey location nearest you. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com.
This is Merrill Reese. After years of calling every thrilling Eagles moment, I know the value of a strong connection. That's why I'm partnering with Verizon and just made the switch. Crystal clear calls, lightning fast speeds, and reliable 5G network. Verizon keeps me connected whether I'm in the booth, on the go, or streaming game highlights. Make the call like I did. Switch to Verizon today. Because when it comes to coverage, you want the best in the game.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability, making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Jack Fritz here. If your appliances aren't game day ready, my friends at National Appliance Warehouse are the team to trust. Their friendly and knowledgeable professionals will make you feel welcome, and they take the time to listen, answer your questions, and connect you with the perfect appliances. Choose from over 100 brands, comfortably displayed in their massive showroom, all guaranteed to be at the lowest prices thanks to Price Assure. Travel the road to victory to National Appliance Warehouse in tax-free Wilmington or Middletown, Delaware today. And as always, tell them Fritz sent you.
This Eagle season, get in the game at Acme and enter their Swoop In and Win sweepstakes for your chance to win Eagles tickets, autographed jerseys, helmets, or more. Download the Acme app or visit acmemarkets.com/swoopinandwin for more details. Plus, save 5% when you shop on game days wearing your Eagles apparel. Acme makes sure Eagles fans have all their game day needs. Don't miss the featured football items of the week. General Mills cereals, buy 2, get 2 free. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
In Philly, we go all out for what we believe in. And at Lincoln Financial, we're no different. Since 2003, we've been proudly flying alongside Eagles fans everywhere. Since 1905, we've been helping Americans with retirement, protection, and benefit solutions built to last. 120 years in, and just like the birds, we have no plans on slowing down. Lincoln Financial, the name behind the link. Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2025.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Dave Spadaro will join us coming up a little bit. We'll also check in with Femi Abebefe, You Better Your Bet, Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. His take on the game today. Eagles a 7-point favorite, and of course all of Week 16 in the NFL. But guys, let's look at this conference and the hierarchy right now of the NFC. Elliot, we hadn't spoken to you and gotten your take since what we saw Thursday night. So the Seahawks beat the Rams 38-37 in a wild game, probably the game of the year in the NFL. So they are currently the number 1 seed. It pushes the Rams to the 5. Elliot, after watching the game, how do you kind of parse the top of the NFC and where are the Eagles?
Yeah, I think the Eagles are definitely one of the best teams in the NFC. Frankly, if not the best team. I understand the Rams are playing at a high level right now, and I noticed that was a big win for the Seahawks. But the Eagles have played in and won big boy games like that game that we saw on Thursday night. Not that style of fight, but they went into Green Bay and beat the Packers. They beat the Lions at home. They went into Kansas City early in the season and beat the Chiefs. So we have seen them win games like that. But in terms of that specific matchup, I do think if you looked at it, one, the Eagles would have the best defense of those three. I think you would not expect Seattle to score as many points as they did against the Rams against the Eagles. But yeah, I mean, the Rams offense is impressive. No question about it. Seattle turned the ball over twice. I don't think Darnold played well. I still feel like in a playoff game, I would rather have Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold in that matchup. But Matthew Stafford's really good. He made some nice plays. And yeah, I think it's the Eagles, the Rams, a gap, and then everybody else.
Hugh, we talked about this yesterday. The one thing that stood out to me is, look, the Seahawks and Rams have been statistically and record-wise the best for a while, right? They just have played each other a couple times, but they've been really good. I agree with Elliot. The Eagles' defense is on par, if not better, than what we saw Thursday night in those two teams. They're good defensively, especially Seattle, but the Eagles are probably better or right there. Hugh, what I need over the next month, right? It's probably going to be about a month until we see one of those teams. I need the Eagles' offense to start giving me a feeling they could score in the upper 20s against that team, those teams.
I don't need to see that, Joe. I need to see probably some more consistency in what they do, more methodical offense. What I mean by that is more ball control and things of that nature, because it feels like a lot of times, especially in the second half, like they're throwing something against the wall hoping that it sticks.
Eagles offense.
Yes. So I don't need to, like, we all get hung up on the points. And to Elliott's point, the defense is playing well enough to keep you in the game.
They are.
But when I think of this Eagles offense, I worry about if you're in a game where it's going back and forth. Like those possessions matter. Like you start playing that possession game, especially in the second half. We can't have a possession where we sputter and we go 3 and out.
Well, yeah, which has been a problem all year.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of – I'm not hung up on the points because I think that this defense, if you put them in position, they're going to play well. I need my offense to be more consistent, like with the plays called and all the other stuff. My fault, Elliot. You got it.
No. I thought you were done. I was just going to say that, you want to see the Eagles score in the high 20s against one of these teams, right? Well, they did it back in Week 3. They scored 27 points against the Rams. They had 33 in the game. Obviously, the final touchdown was a special teams one. So we have seen them beat the Rams and score in the high 20s against the Rams. The question is really how good are the Seahawks? I think we have a good read on who the Rams are. The Eagles play them a lot. They beat them all the time. Like, the strengths are obvious. The weaknesses are obvious on the Rams. The Seahawks are the more kind of compelling team, where the Eagles have not played this version of the Seahawks. They struggle against Seattle. But I also thought Thursday night showed why you should not be afraid of the Seahawks. Like, all year it was, well, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. One of the best defenses in the NFL. They play a good quarterback and a good offense, and they got lit up. Like, they have played bad teams all year. That's why their defensive stats are so impressive. And Sam Darnold, credit to him from recovering for recovering from a poor start to that game, but he did still turn the ball over twice. They got lucky on that 2-point conversion. Like, I feel like a lot of people left that game thinking, well, the Eagles can't compete with these two teams. I left feeling the exact opposite.
So there is one other team that's in this mix that, Elliot, I think, I'll just say myself, I don't know about everyone, but I feel like I have kind of left them out all season long because the injuries they suffered early. But maybe we shouldn't. So because of the outcome the other night, the Niners now control the path to the 1 seed in the NFC West. If they win out, they're the 1 seed. They win the division, they get the 1 seed. And if they don't, Elliot, based on all the projections, the most likely team that will come here to face the Eagles in the first round right now, if the Eagles are the 3, the most likely team to be the 6 are the San Francisco 49ers. Elliot, what's your thought on that team? We haven't spent much time on them this year. I thought when they had all those injuries early, they probably weren't going to be a true contender, but I think their coach is excellent, and their defensive coordinator, who used to be there when they made a Super Bowl all those years ago, he's obviously really good at being a coordinator. So they're very well coached, and they keep winning football games. What's your thought on the Niners?
Yeah, they're an interesting team to try to prepare for. A, because they've had so many injuries that it's not like you've gotten consistent tape of watching the same players all year. They had an offense with Mac Jones, and they have Brock Purdy in. I think their skill players are not that great. Like, Christian McCaffrey is obviously very good, but outside of that, George Kittle's been up and down this year. They don't have great receivers, in my opinion. So on offense, I don't think they present like a matchup problem skill-wise for the Eagles. The concern would be Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy have gone to a Super Bowl. Like, that is a difference between them and Seattle. Sam Darnold's never won a big game. Brock Purdy, credit to him, has won big games and almost did win that Super Bowl that he was in. So I don't think the Niners would be intimidated by coming to Philadelphia. I think if the Seahawks did, there would be a level of pressure on them and nervousness that you would not see with San Francisco. And then to your point, Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator is a very good defensive coordinator. So the concern with the Niners would just be they would walk in confident and like they've been there before and beaten Eagles because they have. I know it was 2 years ago. I think, I would much rather play Seattle than the Niners. And to your point, there was a portion of the year early on where you just kind of wrote them off. I think they deserve some credit. I think the Eagles are better, but I do think the Niners deserve the Eagles' attention.
Yeah, Hugh, if you ask me right now to guess what we're doing, where we are in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever, but 3 weeks, I guess. 4 weeks, 4 Sundays from tomorrow. I would guess, Hugh, that we are at Lincoln Financial Field, Sunday of Wild Card Weekend.
Yep.
3-seed Eagles, 6-seed Niners. That's my guess on where this is going to play out, and that would be an interesting matchup. And we haven't spent much time worrying about the Niners the whole year.
No, we haven't, but here's the reality of it. The Niners feel, even with them having as injuries that they have, they would probably come in here pretty confident.
Sure,
they would definitely come in here pretty confident, feeling like they have our number, because Saleh wasn't there last time, but he's there now.
What's
he's
ironic,
a really good coordinator.
Saleh's Jets beat the Eagles in 2023.
Yeah.
He's a good coordinator. Now, they don't have I agree with Elliot. Their skill position players, other than McCaffrey, leave a lot to be desired. It would be a great game. I think we could be headed for that. There's also another big one tonight with the Packers and the Bears. So any path to the 2 seed involves that one tonight. Go ahead, Elliot.
The other thing I would say in terms of looking at how this is playing out, last year we know the Eagles played at home throughout the playoffs, but they weren't the number 1 seed. They were the number 2 seed. I do think that while I would have preferred the Rams to win that game because I would rather face – now I know, it'll probably be San Francisco at this point, but there's a shot it's the Rams. There's a shot it's the Seahawks in that first round, depending who's not the 1 seed. I would rather face the Seahawks in that game than the Rams. The difference, though, is now with potentially Seattle or San Francisco at the top, if the Eagles can make their way to that 2 seed, that's a relatively weak number 1 seed, right? So coming off a bye, we've seen that the teams have struggled with that, especially a team like Seattle without a ton of playoff experience. San Francisco does have that. But I think if the Eagles can move up to that 2 seed, there's a good chance that they're hosting the championship game again in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It wouldn't shock me if Seattle, with their lack of playoff experience, and Darnold, obviously the big game stuff has not been great for him. It wouldn't shock me if, I don't know, a wild card Rams team goes back there a month from now and beats them. So that could set up the way you're talking about, Elliot, which means more home playoff games for the Eagles. All right, coming up, we'll talk to Dave Spadaro, his thoughts on the game today. Injuries. When are the Eagles going to bring back Lane and Jalen Carter, especially if they do win today? That is coming up. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
A message from Bradford White Water Heaters. How you heat your water matters, and you do have a choice. So choose efficiency, choose reliability, choose innovation, choose a water heater that's manufactured in America using the finest components from around the world. Choose Bradford White. Still is, and always will be, built to be the best. So make the right choice. Ask your plumbing professional to install a Bradford White water heater in your home or business. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more.
Ho, ho, hold up. It's John Ashell, the Car Czar from Colonial Hyundai, and I'm here to help you slay the season. Slay your car payment. Lease a brand new 2026 Tucson for just $199 a month. The SUV that'll have you gliding through snow. And slay your driveway. Colonial awards the highest trade-in values in the Delaware Valley. I'll give you $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed, no matter the condition. ColonialHyundai.com. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. The holiday season is in full swing, and the showcases at Family and Company Jewelers are stocked and ready to go. Do yourself a favor and get to their showroom on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey. It's an amazing showroom. You got to see it. Incredible. And guys, if you're planning on popping the question this year, and I know a lot of you are, Family and Company Jewelers can help you guide that buying process. A pair of diamond stud earrings, another option. Check off your whole list with one-stop shopping at Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's holiday diamond destination.
Hugh Douglas here. This holiday season, warm up with the new Jack Daniel's Tennessee Blackberry Whiskey. It's bold, vibrant blackberry. Flavor blended with creamy vanilla, toasted oak, and just a little touch of honey. It's the perfect pour for holiday parties, family gatherings, or a quiet night by the fire. Make your season merry with Jack Daniel's Tennessee Blackberry. Stop by your local fine wine and good spirits and pick up a bottle or two to shake up your festive Jack Daniel's Blackberry cocktail. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Blackberry. Celebrate this season responsibly.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability, making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
You want a roof that doesn't leak. Of course, that's a given. You need a roofing partner with the experience and know-how to ensure the structural integrity and energy efficiency of your roof. Trust PJ Fitzpatrick with their 45 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. Our professionals install most roofs in just one day. PJ Fitzpatrick has a variety of financing packages that work with any budget. Visit trustpj.com today. That's trustpj.com.
A strong lineup can make a good football team great. The stuff of champions. At Deborah Heart and Lung Center, our lineup is deep. Cardiologists to cardiothoracic surgeons, electrophysiology to heart failure specialists, and everywhere in between. Offense, defense, and special teams. That's why Deborah is one of the premier heart hospitals in the country, right here in South Jersey. Remember, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org.
Is holiday shopping making you stressed? Scratch that. Give gifts with more winners. Holiday scratch-offs from the PA Lottery. They'll go from O to OMG in a ho-ho hurry. Gift one today. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
This holiday, Verizon is giving you incredible gifts and savings you'll enjoy all year. When you switch, you'll get 4 new iPhone 17 Pros. No trade-in needed. That's right. Get 4 lines for just $25 a line and the amazing iPhone 17 Pro for everyone. Save big this holiday. Visit Verizon today. $20 monthly promo credits applied to account over 35 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Is holiday shopping making you stressed? Scratch that. Give gifts with more winners. Holiday scratch-offs from the PA Lottery. They'll go from O to OMG in a ho-ho hurry. Gift one today. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Joining us right now, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, as the Eagles go for a clinch today down in D.C. Dave, injury report news. So earlier this week, there was a bunch of guys in the injury report, but for the most part, those guys came off and ready to play today, with the exception, of course, Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter. Dave, I'm curious your thought on how you think the Eagles might handle this the next few weeks. Let's say they do clinch today. Do you think that would change the perspective if they come back before the end of the regular season?
I think it gives them certainly the option to change that perspective. If you clinch today, then you weigh what's the value of 2 versus 3 in terms of NFC playoff seeding. I mean, realistically, getting to 1, very, very difficult. If you feel at all that you're rushing any of these guys back, you certainly put them on the shelf until the postseason. So it gives them options. And as we've seen in the past, Nick Sirianni has not been reluctant to rest players. Look, the goal is to get these players as rested and healthy and the team as sharp as it can be going into the postseason. So you, as we saw last year, you eschew any opportunities for individual marks. The idea is to go in and be at your healthiest and at your sharpest. So certainly a clinch today, and that's another reason why it's so important, gives the Eagles more things to think about in terms of bringing back Lane and bringing back Jalen before the regular season ends.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, right? That would mean they're clinched.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that they could play it the way they want. Here, we talked about this a little bit during our show during the week. Now, they're different. They're 2 different players. They could do one thing with one thing with the other. But just overall, what's your thought on the idea of not bringing them back versus bringing them back? Both Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson. Let's just use this idea. Let's say they are physically ready to go next week, but the Eagles clinch today. How do you play it?
I would let them knock the rust off a little bit.
So play a little bit.
I would let them play a little bit. I would probably do that. But, knowing I'm not a coach. That's just my personal feeling about that. Thinking Coach Sirianni, trying to think about how he would probably think about it, they probably wouldn't play into the playoffs. If you're asking me that, they probably wouldn't play into the playoffs.
This is where the one rule that if I were NFL commissioner for a day, the rule that I cannot stand is that you've got a 53-man roster and you've got inactives on game day. Because if you let somebody come in and, let's say, play and knock the rust off, I mean, you can't. You're like really like shallow behind him. You can only keep like 8 offensive linemen active. So I mean, it's a really, really tough call. If you feel you can get guys, and Hugh, you can answer this question. You have rested at the end of the season. Can you stay sharp or get sharp if you just practice and don't play and then go into the postseason? Because that's the ideal scenario.
You know what, Dave, to your point, you can, but I was always of the mindset. I wanted to play. I wanted to be out there because I wanted to, work on certain things and things of that nature. But, as my last year before I went to Jacksonville, like I got hurt probably like fourth or fifth week of the season, so I didn't practice at all during the week. I just played on Sunday. So, it was one of those things. As long as you're locked in and know what's going on, as a veteran player, you could definitely do that.
I also think each player, they got to know the player. Lane Johnson, of the 2 guys we're talking about, strikes me as a guy that.
Yeah, you don't really too much worry about Lane. It's more Jalen. than anything.
Younger player, and he's gotten out of shape at times. Vic Fangio's talked about that, so maybe he needs reps. We'll see how the Eagles play over the next couple of weeks. By the way, inactives today against the Commanders are out. Jalen Carter, Lane Johnson, as we expected, inactive. Cam Latu, Josh Uche, Sam Howell, Mac McWilliams, and A.J. Dillon inactive here for the game today. Dave, we started a discussion last hour on Countdown to Kickoff, but we didn't get to one part of it that has been on my mind. Nakobe Dean has been playing great football. We all see that, and he's been awesome, and Hugh's been saying he has a case to make the Pro Bowl, even though he missed, a bunch of games at the beginning of the season. Dave, what I have on my mind is the end of the season, when we get there, how the Eagles might handle this linebacker room. They re-signed Zach Bonney, last offseason. He's here. They drafted Jahad Campbell in the first round, and he was playing pretty well to start the season in his first taste of the NFL. And now Nakobe's playing like this. He's a free agent to be. It feels like a tough decision is going to be on the Eagles' hands in a few months here.
Many tough decisions, because in the big picture, you want to keep Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Moro Ojomo, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Nakobe Dean. I think Reed Blankenship is a free agent at the end of the season. It is going to be really difficult. Now, the Eagles have always done a masterful job of manipulating the contracts and really just kind of moving it down the road a little bit, and Jeffrey Lurie's been extremely generous in that approach. I don't think you can keep everyone. So, unfortunately, you're going to lose good players, as the Eagles lost Josh Sweat and Milton Williams this year. But, in the big picture, good problem to have. But, you would love to keep everyone. I guess the question with Nakobe is, if you're another team, are you spending big on someone? And we all love Nakobe. This is not any sort of shot at Nakobe at all. But there have been injury issues in the past. And to commit big money to that is something that maybe other teams will take some pause. But certainly, incredibly valuable player, great football player, and somebody the Eagles would love to keep along with all of those guys.
Yeah, Hugh, I think it's going to be a fascinating decision. And one, Hugh, I could just hear our listeners, our callers, being very passionate that they want to keep Nakobe Dean. It's going to be hard to watch him walk out the door. But they did just draft a linebacker, Hugh, in the first round last year.
Yeah, they drafted him high, too.
Yeah.
They drafted him high, and they felt like they got a steal. Your biggest asset in the NFL is your availability. And there's been a lot of times, even though Nakobe's playing well now, that is something they're going to weigh. And he's going to want to get paid. He's going to want to make his money because he's due to make his money. So it's going to be a tough decision to make, because I'm pretty sure when negotiations start, that's going to be a huge talking point. The fact that he's hate to say it like that, but injury prone.
Well, he has been, yeah. Hopefully he stays healthy the rest of the season, and he gives the Eagles a lot of good snaps on the way down the stretch of the season. Dave, before we let you go, today's game, what are you expecting, a lower-scoring game because of the Eagles' defense, or you think both offenses get moving a little bit today?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some points scored in this game. I think the Eagles have an opportunity to run the football against Washington. And again, I want to see how this team comes out. Beautiful day. A lot of Eagles fans come out strong, as they did last week against the Raiders, get the offense going. And really, I think the goal, talking to a lot of players in the locker room during the week, was how can we carry the momentum over from last week into this week? I know a lot of people think that there's correlation from one week to the next. I think today's a really good example if that is the case. I've always believed that games are kind of individual and circumstances dictate success. But certainly the Eagles are riding a high after a total domination last week against Vegas.
Well, they are, and hopefully they can stack it again before they head to Buffalo next week. Dave, we appreciate you hopping on. Coming up on the other side, Femi Abebefe will join us. You Better Your Bet, Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. His thought on this one today, the Eagles, a 7-point favorite on the road down in D.C. against the Commanders. And we'll look ahead to the rest of the Week 16 slate, including a big one tonight, the Packers and the Bears. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
The Piazza Auto Group is proud to have served as the halftime sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network for over 20 years. As we hope for another championship, it's the perfect time to drive home in the new or certified pre-owned vehicle you've been wanting. The Piazza Auto Group features 18 brands, including Honda, Acura, Mazda, Hyundai, Genesis, Mini, Nissan, Subaru, and Volkswagen. To find the location nearest you or to shop their extensive inventory, visit PiazzaAutoGroup.com.
I love elves. Hard workers, cheery bunch, but they can sure wreck a bathroom. Luckily, someone's always ready on short notice to save Christmas. The fine folks at Roto-Rooter.
Coast is clear, Santa.
Thank you. You may want to stick around. Santa needs to get in there. And away goes trouble down the drain.
Rudy.
Now get out of my bathroom.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Let me tell you about my friends at United Tire and Service. You know, United Tire wants to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. If you need quick travel preparations, now is the time to save and make sure your car is ready for winter driving. United Tire has some of the best prices of the year, and when you buy 2 or more tires, you'll get $50 off any other service that your car needs. Happy holidays from United Tire and Service, and remember, don't drive alone, drive United. Visit UnitedTire.com.
The working families of Landover Labor District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
As the holidays arrive, Bucks County Estate Traders is grateful for you. They're customers who believe that furniture should have character, history, and heart. Every piece they carry has a story, and they love helping it become part of yours. If you're looking to finish a room, warm up a space, or find that perfect focal point, you'll discover it in their Hatfield showroom. Bucks County Estate Traders, helping you create a home that feels uniquely yours. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com. Open 7 days a week. It's football season. Time to fire up the grill and bring your A game to the tailgate. Whether it's delicious Hatfield bacon to kick off your day or a tender, juicy marinated pork tenderloin sizzling for halftime, Hatfield's got your menu covered for every fan feast. From the coin toss to the final whistle, Hatfield brings bold flavor to every play. Find your game day favorites at simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield, better care, better pork.
Hey, it's Devin Caney. If you've seen me on the sidelines this season, you've seen me repping my custom Cozy Jewelers pieces. Paul Cozy created them just for me, and I absolutely love them. I wear them all the time. What I love most is how Paul really listened to me and crafted the exact pieces I was hoping for. You can give that same one-of-a-kind gift to someone special this holiday season. Just stop into Cozy Jewelers and talk to Paul. He'll design something truly unforgettable. Step up to the 5th C. Color, cut, clarity, carrot, and cozy.
Win big this winter with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning's win-win deal. We win by keeping our family of employees working in the cold months, and you win by getting the best pricing we can offer with an added 10-year warranty and rebates. Manufacturer pricing is going up this January, so let's win together. Schedule an estimate today with CNC, your local Lennox dealer, and start saving today. Visit cc-hvac.com. Offers only for new installations through the end of January. 0% financing available.
This is Len Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you are never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you're injured in an accident, we will work quickly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say it won't cost you a dime up front, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giulia joining us now, Odyssey sports betting insider Femi Abebefe. We look forward to the Eagles and Commanders later on this afternoon. Femi, how you doing today?
Femi.
I'm doing well, fellas. Happy Saturday. You know, used to doing these things on a Sunday, but it's that time of year where we get Saturday NFL football. Just got done watching an interesting college football playoff game between Miami and A&M, but I'm ready for the professional ranks later on this evening.
Yeah, us too. We had it on in the studio. As wild as a low-scoring game could be, that college football game you referenced again. It is a great football day. And next up here, we get the Eagles and the Commanders. Eagles, a 7-point road favorite. First time these teams facing off this season. Femi, your thought on this matchup and the Eagles as this big of a favorite?
Yeah, it's an interesting game because, I mean, both teams going into this one with injuries on the offensive line. You know, like that's the big thing that I look at here. Obviously, Philadelphia, another game with no Lane Johnson. For the Washington Commanders, Laramie Tunsil, their best offensive lineman. That's a pretty big loss here. But still, I am on the side of the Washington Commanders. I think this is just a couple too many points here. Like if it was 6, I could understand it, but at a full 7, I think Washington can keep this game somewhat competitive. Philadelphia defensively, they're obviously very strong in what they've been able to do, but with no Jalen Carter, it's not that top-notch defense that we have seen earlier this season. And on the Washington side, hey, say what you will about Marcus Mariota, now that he's going to be starting the rest of the way, he's played pretty solid so far in relief duty for Jaden Daniels. So I think Washington keeps it competitive, and I think Philadelphia wins the game, but they win it by maybe like 4 to 6 points, so not a double-digit win for the Eagles like the point spread's almost indicated.
Femi, last week the Eagles had a great game. It took them a while to have one of those. They hadn't played very well for a while, and they had lost 3 straight games. They got a big win over the Raiders. When you have a team this late in the season that maybe is struggling, and then they have a get-right game against a team as bad as the Raiders, how much does that change your view on the team, if at all? Because we've been kind of having that debate here in Philadelphia all week. Were we moved by what we saw, or was it just the Raiders?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be moved by what we saw, what the Raiders have been doing so far. I live out here in Las Vegas. People are not too happy with the first year of this Pete Carroll regime so far. And, you have to give the Eagles some credit because at the end of the day, yeah, the Raiders are bad, but they held them to 75 yards. But you just can't be too moved by Philadelphia. But I will say this about the Eagles. When they do get Carter back and Lane Johnson back, that's when I think we're going to see what the Eagles actually are. Like right now, it feels like they're bubbling in the surface a little bit here. Let's see if the offense can continue to find their way. But when they get healthy, I think they have as high a ceiling as anyone in the NFC. I know everyone's talking about the Rams and the Seahawks after what we saw Thursday night, but let's not count out the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the defending Super Bowl champions. They're going to get a home game in the playoffs as long as they take care of business in one of these games down the stretch. And I still think that team is as talented as any as we've seen in the league.
Femi, tonight's game after the Eagles, another huge NFC game, and this time it's the Bears hosting the Packers. We just saw this matchup a couple weeks ago. Packers won that game. Since then, they've lost Micah Parsons. The Bears, a small favorite tonight in that game. We'll have our eyes on it after we watch the Eagles. Your thought on Bears-Packers and where that NFC North is headed?
I don't trust the Chicago Bears as the favorite. I don't. I know this is a week where a lot of people are kind of out on Green Bay. The Parsons injury is a massive one, but I think what's not being discussed enough is the fact that the Bears' wide receivers are pretty banged up. Luther Burden started to emerge as one of their better targets. He's not going to be playing. Roma Dunze is not going to be playing in the game. They still have DJ Moore and Colston Loveland and those guys, but I'm just not sure I trust Caleb Williams in this particular spot. With expectations. This is no longer being the frisky underdog. There's now expectations that the Bears will win. I think Big Brother gets them once again tonight, and the Packers take over first place in the North.
Femi, last thing for you as we look forward to Week 16. It feels like the NFC, we kind of have a good idea of the teams. Maybe the Lions jump back in, but it's basically 8 teams for the 7 spots down the stretch of the season. How important is seeding going to be in terms of this? Who wins the conference, or do you think it could be one of those years where, if it's a Rams or the Eagles playing on Wild Card Weekend, that they can get all the way? What's your thought on how seeding is going to affect the betting market and who actually gets the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect it too much. As you're seeing the betting market right now, the Rams are still considered one of the co-favorites to win the NFC, and right now the likely outcome is that they're going to be playing on Wild Card Weekend, and they're going to be on the road on Wild Card Weekend. So it's likely going to be a road route for the Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, if you're the Eagles, you like having that game at home, and there's a chance maybe we do get that game, a rematch of last year's playoff game between the Rams and the Eagles. If that's the case, I would like Philadelphia with the home field advantage in that game. So I don't think seeding is going to mean too much because I still don't trust Sam Darnold if the Seahawks get the 1 seed. And there's an outside chance that maybe San Francisco gets the 1 seed. And with their injuries on defense, I don't really trust them really to make a big run. So I think it's either the Rams or the Eagles, and maybe that game on Wild Card Weekend, if we get it, might decide the NFC.
Boy, it'd be a great one. Femi Afefe, we appreciate you hopping on. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. On 94 WIP.
Vegas came to Philly, but the Eagles played with house money.
31-0 shutout, first shutout here since 2008.
Tonight, the Birds return to the bright lights of prime time.
Just 1 week at a time. Every week has been 1 week at a time.
For a pre-Christmas road trip to face the Commanders. To Today's game is sponsored in part by PNC Bank, PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems, Verizon, NovaCare Rehabilitation, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers, Deborah Heart and Lung Center, Acme, and Piazza Auto Group. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Welcome to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. The 9-5 Eagles, the 4-10 Commanders, a chance at a clinch today. Alongside Hugh Douglas, I'm Joe Giglio. Elliott Shore Parks with us, live from Landover, Maryland. All right, we're about an hour away from kickoff, which means we could be about, 4 hours away or so from the Eagles clinching the NFC East. Guys, we'll give predictions at the end. We'll see if we're all on board with them winning this game today. But they are favorites to win the game. They're 7-point favorites. Elliot, I'm really curious what happens moving forward now and how they play this if they do win today, right? If they win today, division over with 2 weeks to go, and not much chance to move up to the number 1 seed in the bye. So it would be about rest versus rust versus getting in a groove. I saw some videos here, Elliot, of Lane Johnson warming up with his guys today, which I think there's a good sense that he's getting close to returning here. Elliot, how do you think the Eagles are going to play this? Let's say they win today. Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter, what do they do with guys like that? And if anyone gets banged up today in the next 2 weeks, if there's not that much to play for?
Yeah, I think the Eagles have given us the answer to that question multiple times over the past few years. Whenever they get an opportunity to rest their players, they've done it. You look at last year in the final game of the season. They had an NFL record to play for, and they rest them there. Still an outside shot at the 1 seed in that game, but more so sat them with the chance to break the record. In training camp, and I know it's different than the game, but it's worth noting that in training camp and preseason games, they never put their players in harm's way unless they absolutely have to. And obviously in training camp and preseason, you don't have to. So I think if they were to clinch today, if they look at it and feel there's not a big difference between the 2 or the 3 seed, now that's a decision they'd have to make, right? Because if you're the 2 seed, you're only 1 loss away from the 1 seed obviously hosting that championship game. But I think they will lean towards rest. I don't think they'll rush Lane back. I don't think they'll rush Jalen Carter back. I think you might see them dial the playbook back and stop showing certain things heading into the postseason. So yeah, it would not surprise me at all if they win today, if we see Tanner McKee in the final game of the season. All right, Hugh, let's jump off that, because especially what Elliott said there towards the end, they might taper the playbook back. Let's play this out. The good game last week against the Raiders, right? Let's say they play well and win today. So they'll stack 2 good games. Is that enough for you? No. Because that's really what we're talking about. If they start throttling down, they've only had 2 games where they're really kind of full throttle, shut it down, and then try to go back up for the playoffs.
I don't think so. But, that's me talking from the perspective of being, sitting in this chair every day. This offense has been sporadic all year long. And I would not feel comfortable as a fan. Let me preface that, as a fan, going into the postseason with only a small body of work to account with. But I can see the flip side of that and where Elliott's coming from, because now you don't know what to defend against. Because, when you talk about this team and they're being under center more, then that's more preparation for the defense, whatever defense you're playing. So I get that side of it. But at the same time, we haven't been, if I'm talking about the offense, we haven't been gelling long enough for me to feel comfortable with doing that.
I think it's I'm more on your side of this, Elliot, and think the Eagles will do that of resting guys and taking the conservative approach to injuries and all that. But I understand Hugh's point here. It's not like they've rolled on anything offensively for any extended period of time this season. If they play pretty well today or that's only 2 games. That feels like not a lot.
I don't know. I thought, they turned the ball over against the Chargers, right? Yeah. That was obviously a flaw, but they moved the ball in that game. I think the offense, arguably, over the past 2 weeks, and we'll see what they do today, but if they can turn in a good performance today, you're trending towards the offense playing the best it's played all season. And if they win today, this is obviously we'll have throughout the week, but I definitely lean towards resting them. If they don't put Jalen Hurts back on the field until the playoffs, I would not blame them. If they sat Jalen against Buffalo and Washington to end the year, knowing you'll be the 2 or 3 Jalen Hurts is the most important player on the team. You do not put him at risk in games that are somewhat meaningless. We're talking about a 2 or the 3 seed. Now again, we could debate how meaningful being the 2 versus the 3 is, but neither of those seeds is more important than having a fully healthy Jalen out there on the field. Nick Sirianni has shown throughout his time at the head coach he is good at getting this team ready off of rest. I think he's never lost in week 1, if I'm not mistaken, so he knows how to get them ready. This is a banged-up team. We see the offensive line. I think their number one issue, frankly, is health. So I get the point about gelling, but if they're not going to gel at this point, I don't know if risking 2 games of health is going to make a big difference. So I think it's important they play well today. If they win today, yeah, I mean, I'll see Jalen in January.
Man, that would be, I mean, that'd be 3 games. He's not playing for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of football just sitting around.
Chilling.
Yeah,
lot.
healthy, safe.
Yeah.
Yes, safe on the sideline. Yeah.
So I'm with you for the final game. I mean, that feels right to me.
Well, then why play versus Buffalo? If you acknowledge that resting them for health is a smart thing to do, why do it for only 1 game and not 2?
So I think it's a fair question. I think there's too much rest versus rust. Like I remember the Indianapolis Colts one of the years they were undefeated. They were like 14-0 when it was still a 16-game season, and they did the same thing that you're kind of referencing now. Obviously, different stakes, right? It's just 2 or 3 seed or whatever. But they sat down for the final 2 games. And then they lost their first playoff game. They didn't play well in that first. It just feels like a long time to sit around and wait without play. I understand the last game. Elliot, let's attack the 2 versus 3 seed because I think that's interesting. Of that conversation, I don't think there's much difference there, Elliot. It's not like old days where you like 2 teams got the bye. That's obviously a major difference. And I know your point that last year the 1 seed lost, and it could happen again this year, so the 2 kind of becomes the 1. That's not enough for me as we go to the final few weeks of the season to really care, especially that final week, because, Elliot, the 2 and 3 seed both have to play on Wild Card Weekend. And the way I look at it is, if the NFC West is fighting it out to the last week, the Eagles could create a scenario where in Week 18 they're resting, and whoever their opponent is, right, however it shakes out, Seahawks, Rams, Niners, they're all playing that final week. So that, to me, is a big advantage.
Yeah, obviously we'll see what the seeding looks like coming out of this weekend. We'll know the result of the Eagles game, obviously. So I think you can have, or at least I can have a better opinion on how much the 2 versus 3 would matter at that point. But my initial thought is I don't know if there's enough of a gap between any of these teams in the NFC where you're trying to avoid one team or you desperately don't want to play this one team. The only thing I would factor in here is Jalen does not like playing in the cold, right? And if you have to go to Chicago in the playoffs, Chicago beat them, so you definitely can't take that game easily. I think the Eagles are better than the Bears. I think they just got the better of them that day. But if it's a difference between having it in Philadelphia versus Chicago, where it could legitimately feel like, minus 15 degrees in that game, that's something worth considering. But again, I tend to lean health and the safety of the players over the final 2 games than I would seeding.
How much do you think their own history is going to inform them? I think back to 2 years ago, Elliot, that final game of the season. I know they were still in play for the NFC East, but I mean, I think their chances that day were less than 10%, right? They had to beat the Giants and have the Cowboys lose, I think, to a bad Commanders team. It was very unlikely to happen. They played their guys in the first half, right? Jalen broke his finger or dislocated his finger. AJ had a knee injury and couldn't play the next week in a playoff game. Do you think that is going to inform their thinking here? If there's a chance they can move up in seeding, but it's unlikely.
I think it would. I mean, that's one of the rare times, and good job remembering that, where they did put their players out on the field and risk their health in a game that didn't have a ton of meaning, and look how that played out. Right now, that season obviously had some differences. You look at how they were playing towards the end of that year. If they were to win today, they would have 2 straight wins. I think the offense would be playing well. Presumably the defense plays well. So you feel better about where the team is at. But you're right. And the Colts point is a good one, back in the day where they lost. But the worst thing that could happen to this team's playoff chances is losing an A.J. Brown or losing a Jalen Hurts. Or, let's look at the defensive side of the ball. Jalen Phillips is someone that has had trouble staying healthy throughout his career. What if he's injured? Brandon Graham is 37 or whatever.
Nakobe,
exactly. So, this will be a fun debate throughout the week. They have to win today for it to make it a debate. But you're right. The last time they prioritized playing well going into the postseason over health, it came back to bite them in a huge way.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a big conversation next couple weeks. They got to get that win today. We'll talk more about it. Merrill's going to join us next.
Merrill Reese.
His thoughts on the game, and I'm sure he'll give us a thought on that stadium down there in Landover, Maryland. This is, of course, the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Football fans don't just watch the game, they live it. From pregame rituals to postgame celebrations, PNC is proud to be presenting sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network and a devoted fan just like you. Fans who show up in full force in every kind of weather. Because keeping your finances boring allows you to make exciting memories full of face paint, tailgates, and all the things that make game day. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC. This is Merrill Reese, voice of the Eagles. I've called games in every stadium in the league. There's one thing I've learned. Connection matters. That's why I'm partnering with Verizon and made the switch. From the press box to the parking lot, the coverage is flawless. No dropped calls, no lag, just reliable service wherever I go. So if you're thinking about switching, trust me, Verizon's got you. Get to your local Verizon store today.
It's the year-end sales event with the Ford crew.
It's sales event time, Sam.
Temperatures are dropping, but the deals are just getting hot.
Time for our annual Ford Holiday Gift Guide.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to go wrong with great deals on trucks and SUVs from Ford, America's all-time best-selling auto brand.
Don't forget the first rule of holiday gift giving, Hank.
What's that, Sam?
Always remember to treat yourself, too.
Well said.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Hand & Stone has a secret that turns one gift into two. Buy one massage or facial gift card for $150 or more and get another $50 gift card free. Check 2 people off your holiday list with just one purchase. This holiday season, the best gifts create moments of pure relaxation. Visit your local Hand & Stone spa or handandstone.com today.
This Eagle season, get in the game at Acme and enter their Swoop In and Win sweepstakes for your chance to win Eagles tickets, autographed jerseys, helmets, or more. Download the Acme app or visit acmemarkets.com/swoopinandwin for more details. Plus, save 5% when you shop on game days wearing your Eagles apparel. Acme makes sure Eagles fans have all their game day needs. Don't miss the featured football items of the week. General Mills cereals, buy 2, get 2 free. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org. Game day just got personal. This season, it's not just about showing up, it's about showing out. And as proud partners of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kendra Scott wants to help you bring your own unique style to the sidelines all season long. Shop exclusive green and silver jewelry or customize your own look at Color Bar for the ultimate style showdown. Visit your local Kendra Scott store or kendrascott.com today to build your winning look, where team spirit meets personal style.
It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A field goal? That's a no. But a honey butter dinner roll? That's a yes. A 6-pack of abs? Definitely no. But a 6-pack of beer? Uber Eats can get you that. There you have it. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Official on-demand delivery partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Order now.
Eagles Commanders, we'll talk about it Monday from 2 to 6 on the WIP Afternoon Show with Ike, Spike, and Fritz.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Alongside Hugh Douglas, I am Joe Giglio. Joining us now, live from the booth, where he'll be on the call along with Mike Quick and Devin Caney, is the voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese. Merrill, how you doing?
Hi, I'm well.
We're great.
I'm here at this beautiful stadium.
Yeah,
just a great place.
I was wondering. Yeah, Merrill, tell us how you really feel.
Sarcasm.
Merrill, we had Elliot on earlier, obviously throughout the show with us, and he was even referencing how it's one of his least favorite. Is it still one of yours?
Well, it used to be one of my least favorite, But there are some that are even worse. I mean, Miami is awful. Stuff drips on your head, and you're cut out from a third of the field. SoFi, or as I call it, so far, is an awful stadium in which to broadcast a game because you're in the back of the end zone. Minneapolis has its own problems. I mean, but this is one of the worst. This is they've changed the name to Northwest Stadium, but it is still the dump.
Yeah, it is the dump. Hopefully the Eagles get out of there with a victory and a clinch, Merrill, which, before we get to your keys, I know the Eagles have accomplished so much. They're one of the best teams, over a long time in the NFL. This one feels like an accomplishment, though, Merrill. If they finish it off today, first time since Hugh Douglas was playing, they could win back-to-back NFC East titles here.
Hard to go back-to-back.
Is that 1956?
No, but it feels like it sometimes.
Yeah, it was a long time
It is
ago.
crazy no one's won this division in back-to-back years. And the Eagles are win away,
20
Merrill.
years.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Let's get it done today. All right, Merrill, let's get to the keys to clinching tonight.
All right, number one, shut down Marcus Mariota's running. He's a good athlete who can take off when receivers are covered. 2 games ago, Justin Herbert ran for key first downs. Keep Mariota behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's a really good one. And Merrill, I think maybe because of his age, he's been in the league now a while, maybe some might think he doesn't run as much. No, he does. I mean, 2 of the last 3 games, he's been well over, 40, 50-ish yards. I mean, he can still move, so that's an important one.
He was sensational, Joe, in that Denver game.
Yes, he was.
Sensational. All right, number 2, put tight end Dallas Goedert in the spotlight. Number 88, burn the Raiders often. The Commanders' defense has struggled against teams' talented tight ends.
It could be a big day for him. And 2 touchdowns last week on those shovel passes. Almost had a third. I heard him after the game talking about that drop. He's played great this year, but he almost had 3 touchdowns. Could be another huge day for Goedert. I like it. How about key number 3, Merrill?
Number 3 is make special plays on special teams. All right, here I go again. Britton Covey is 1 block away from scoring his first NFL touchdown. Make it happen today.
You know what? That would be a fun exclamation point on a division title. Britton Covey, who came in the middle of the season to get a touchdown. I think he's played well since he's come back. He's always seemed to play well. He's always been one of your favorites, Merrill. He plays well in an Eagles uniform. Merrill, we appreciate you hopping on as always. Have a great broadcast. Enjoy it, and let's come home with a division title.
That would be great. Thank you very much, guys, and have a great afternoon, Hugh.
Have a good one, Merrill.
There he goes, the voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese. All right, Hugh, he brought up a couple things there. 1, Mariota's running ability, which is obviously still there. But 2, how about Dallas Goedert? He's a guy, you go back to last offseason, right? Remember there was that long standoff. Would they trade him? Would they keep him?
Yeah.
Would they end up releasing him? They worked out that revised contract, and he's had a heck of a season. 9 touchdowns.
He played well.
Yeah.
He played well, man. And, you saw him somewhat on display in the game against the Chargers, and then you saw him big time last week. I think he could be somewhat of an X factor. If you get the ball to Dallas Goedert, especially across on those crossing routes and things of that nature, and allow him to do his thing, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of the passing game because now you have to respect that. I think a lot of times when we talk about this Eagles offense and the reason why it's been so stagnant is because it hasn't, for whatever reason, been creative, has not been creative enough, and now you give defenses more things to game plan for, and it opens up that creativity a little bit.
Elliot, it's pretty remarkable that, all offseason we spent that time. You were reporting on it, the future of Goedert. Would he be here? Would he not be here? And then he turns out to be the guy that's going to lead them in touchdown catches. He's had a great season.
Yeah, especially when you look at the tush push not having the success it has this year, having Goedert in the red zone, they've had to get creative in the red zone to find ways to get the ball in, and they have the best red zone offense in the NFL, at least certainly up there, in large part because of Goedert. But I would also say one area Goedert has really helped is you see them going more and more under center, and then more and more throwing it out of play action under center. One thing Goedert has been really involved in is that game. Is that, you see Jalen under center, play action, he rolls out and throws it to Goedert like somewhat in the flat. So he's been big in that regard. He's been big in the red zone. And they might have to resign him. We talk so much about Nakobe and how they have to resign Nakobe. At least at linebacker, they still have Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell. If Goedert were to walk in free agency this year, maybe they draft a tight end, and if you use a first-round or second-round pick on a tight end, obviously you expect him to contribute right away, but that's still a rookie player at a key spot on what will presumably be a Super Bowl contender. So this offseason, Goedert, his contract, I know he'll want to stay here. He likes it in Philadelphia. His family is set up here. So I do think that he'll want to stay, and the Eagles are certainly looking like they're going to have to pay him to stay.
Yeah, usually they're prepared at this point to let a player go. Like they were prepared when Fletcher was at the end with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They were prepared at edge last year with Sweat, right, and Jay Alexander and Nolan Smith, and then they're prepared at linebacker with Campbell. They're not prepared at tight end. I mean, they've always needed him, and they still need him.
And I think they planned on trying to be prepared in the draft, and it just didn't fall that way. And that's why you see Goedert back here and why you might see him here again next year.
Yeah, and look, if they're going to make another run, he's probably going to play a huge role. He's a big game player, and he's always had big games in the postseason. All right, coming up, the part of the show everyone's been waiting for, ESP's 3 keys to an Eagles victory before our predictions. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Call 811 if you have some groundwork to do. Utilities are under you, and it's all good until they spew. Oops, now all on your lawn. It smells like a porta-john. Should've just called 811. It's a real human stinky bomb. Call 811 before you dig, and help us hit 50 and 5. 50% less damage to buried utilities in 5 years. For more info, visit pa1call.org.
Driving in a Honda Wonderland. It's that time of year again. Happy Honda Days, where you can drive in a Honda Wonderland of your own with a great offer on a fun-to-drive new Accord, Civic, CR-V, or HR-V. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 3.99% APR on a 2025 Accord or a 2026 CR-V, a 4.99% APR on a 2026 Civic, or a 3.49% APR on a 2026 HR-V.
Contact your local Honda dealer today. See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic Si and Type R.
Kick off game day the right way this season with Hers, the snack that's rooted in Philly. They've been a hometown favorite for nearly 8 decades and counting. So when you say their first team all flavor, you can taste it. Hers runs a deep roster of unbelievable flavors like zesty, sour cream and onion, sweet and smoky honey barbecue, and slightly spicy jalapeno kettle chips. So next Birds game, you can't help but go for 2. Bags, that is. Hers, rooted in flavor.
Merrill Reese here to talk about my friends at NovaCare Rehabilitation. Being an Eagles fan is serious business with no time for aches and pain. The physical therapist at NovaCare will help make sure you stay healthy, active, and doing the activities you love, like cheering on the Eagles. With more than 150 convenient locations throughout the Delaware Valley and South Jersey, visit NovaCare.com to schedule an appointment. NovaCare is the official physical therapy provider to the Philadelphia Eagles. Experience the power of physical therapy.
Billy knows how to get game day ready. The jerseys, the wings, the oil change. Yeah, the oil change, because your car needs to perform too. At Meineke, we'll get your ride tuned up faster than a 2-minute drill. Brakes, tires, oil changes, exhaust, batteries, and more done right at the right price. Don't let car trouble bench you this season. Come to Meineke for all your car care needs. And right now, Meineke's offering a synthetic blend oil change for only $34.95 with free tire rotation. See your local Meineke dealer for details. Meineke, doing car care right.
Surfside is the perfect fit this holiday season. Whether you're watching football, hitting the slopes, or warming up by the fire, there's nothing better than enjoying your favorite Surfside canned cocktail to keep the good times going. Made with real vodka, Surfside is only 100 calories and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's smooth, easy to sip, and always refreshing. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Ask for it at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Is holiday shopping making you stressed? Scratch that. Give gifts with more winners. Holiday scratch-offs from the PA Lottery. They'll go from O to OMG in a ho-ho hurry. Gift one today. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
The pros know nobody beats FW Web. With extensive inventory, personalized service, and a fleet of trucks across the Northeast, FW Web supports all customers, from one-van contractors to large facility operators. For planned projects, emergency jobs, or maintenance, FW Web has what you need, when and where you need it. For plumbing, heating, HVAC, refrigeration, propane gas, and PVF jobs. With over 100 locations, visit FWWeb.com to find one near you.
Is holiday shopping making you stressed? Scratch that. Give gifts with more winners. Holiday scratch-offs from the PA Lottery. They'll go from O to OMG in a ho-ho hurry. Gift one today. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
We're talking all things Eagles, Commanders. Hugh Douglas, Joe Gilly, The Midday Show, 10 to 2 on 94 WIP.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. We will get you our predictions coming up in just a little bit, but right now, it's the part of the show we've been waiting for. It is time for ESP's 3 Keys to the Game.
Can't wait! 3 Keys with ESP.
It's really why Hugh Douglas shows up for this.
That's the only reason I come, man.
The Keys to the Game are brought to you by United Tire. For the best tire prices anywhere, don't drive alone. Drive United. Elliot, what are you thinking today?
All right, first key in the game today. We've talked about the injuries the Eagles are dealing with, but Washington missing some key players, especially at left tackle. Left tackle Laramie Tunsil not playing today. So the first key, win at the edge. You look at who's going to be starting at tackle today for Washington. Josh Connerly Jr. at right tackle, 73rd best tackle in the league this year, pass blocking according to Pro Football Focus. 37 pressures allowed. He's a winnable matchup on that side. But now with Laramie Tunsil out, they're going to turn to Brandon Coleman. He started at left tackle for them last year. He was so good last year, they paid a premium to trade for someone to take his job. So that's a winnable spot as well. The edges have been playing better. Jalen Phillips against Connerly, you should win that matchup. And then you look at the left side with Brandon Coleman, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. Very winnable matchups on the outside, but also in addition to getting to him, keep Mariota in the pocket. Don't let him get out. Keep contained. It's going to be key to win along the edges.
Yeah, and of all those names you mentioned, Elliot, the one that I have my eye on, I think Jalix Hunt's played good football for a while. Obviously, Jalen Phillips has helped since he got here. But I am waiting to see if there's another level to Nolan Smith's season. I know he had the injury last year, and they came back, and then they shut him down again. They kind of got revved back up, and they were on a little bit of a pitch count. But, Elliot, it was right around this time last year that he took off. Yeah. He looked like, down the stretch and in the playoffs, one of the best pass rushers in the whole NFL. And he's been good this year, but he hasn't been that. Hugh, if they can get last December and January's version of Nolan Smith, this defense goes to even higher level.
Yeah, if you could get it going, man. And they've been trending in the right direction with the sacks and everything that they've had. But, yeah, if you can get everybody clicking on all cylinders, man, it's no doubt you got a real shot to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're coming out of waves right now.
Yeah, if you look at Nolan Smith, I agree with you. Last year he took off at this time. It seems like the Eagles and Fangio know who they prefer. It feels like Jalix Hunt's ahead of him in the pecking order right now. I think in a big-time pass defense situation where the team's going to be passing, they would have Jalix Hunt out there over Nolan Smith. Now, Vic Fangio did say this week there is no longer a snap count on or a snap limit, I guess I should say, on Nolan Smith. So we'll see today how the snaps are distributed. But, yeah, Jalix has had a great year, arguably been a top 20 edge rusher in the NFL, and I think he has taken the job for now from Nolan Smith.
I agree. It's going to be interesting the next few weeks to see if that shifts or if it is Jalix Hunt ahead of him as we go into the postseason. How about key number 2?
Key number 2, this is another defensive key. Don't buy the eye candy. What the Washington Commanders are going to try to do is trick the Eagles. They don't have great skill players. They're not going to win one-on-one matchups consistently. They're not going to win on offense just by trusting their players to make plays. They're going to have to scheme guys open. So you look at them this year, they're 8th in play action rate. They motion on almost half of their snaps. They're going to try to do things. Cliff Kingsbury is going to try to get creative. And you look at some of the Eagles defenders. Marcus Epps has not played a lot this year. He's going to have to be careful in making sure he's not biting on plays there in the back. If Jahad Campbell gets out on the field, now we'll see how much he plays, but he's somebody, if they're trying to get him out there, he needs to be careful. So don't buy the eye candy. Be disciplined. And, I think that's how you can stop the Washington offense.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. Kingsbury against Fangio. We saw it 3 times last year. I know some people don't love Cliff Kingsbury, Hugh, in the NFL. We'll see if he becomes a head coach again. I think he's really good as a coordinator. And I'm looking at some of these numbers because Elliot's mentioned the eye candy, right, and how much trickery they do. They're in the NFL this year. And think about it. They lost Jaden Daniels for most of the season. They don't have great skill guys. They're 12th in the NFL in yards per play. They're ahead of the Chiefs. They're ahead of the Bengals. They're ahead of the Eagles. Like, their offense efficiency without their starting quarterback most of the year is pretty good. He's a good coordinator.
Yeah, he is, man. And, I know they're probably thinking down there in Washington, if they wouldn't have gotten hurt, had all those injuries, they'd probably be in a much better position that they're in.
Sure. Well, they'd probably still be in the race, so they're around where the Cowboys are. Elliot, it's a good one. And Fangio last year I think, got the better of Kingsbury twice. But that third game, that was assuming the middle game, Kingsbury got him.
Yeah, now, I also think having Kenny Pickett in there probably didn't help the defense. Right? But, no, for sure. I mean, and Fangio has done well against the, not to group them all together, but that type of head coach where they're known for the scheme, right, and using trickery. Like, they've always done good against Sean McVay. They've done good against Kyle Shanahan. Mike McDaniels, they haven't faced a ton, but they shut him down when they played him. So I do think Fangio has done well for the most part against that type of coach.
Yeah, he has, and there's a lot of familiarity now in the last couple of years. All right, how about key number 3, Elliot?
So number 3 is piggybacking off of our last point, but I think it's crucially important today. You can't give Washington big plays. They do not have enough talent to dink and dunk their way down the field. Deebo Samuel is someone that does not get open organically, right? The only way he's going to really impact this game is if he's breaking tackles. And the flip side of that is if the Eagles are missing tackles. So limit the big plays today. Washington, 27th in the NFL in passing plays of 20-plus yards and 17th in the NFL in running plays of 20-plus yards. They do not make big plays, and the Eagles can't be the defense today that allows them to do that. So if the defense is playing really well, they're playing disciplined, the tackling has been really good, stick with that today, and I really don't think you're giving up more than 17 points to this Washington offense, and that frankly might be a high number.
Yeah, and that one, Hugh, the tackling this year has been interesting because some weeks they're great. Like last week, they didn't miss a single tackle. Mm-hmm. Dave mentioned it to us. It was the first NFL team this season in any game to not miss a single tackle, which is just remarkable. But there's also been games, and Hugh, I've noticed it on the short week games, right? The Giants game in October when they had to go to New York on the Thursday, and then that Black Friday game against the Bears where they didn't tackle well. Do you think, if I say that to you, do you think that's because it was a short week and their bodies weren't ready?
Probably in the way that they work and everything.
Because this is also a short week.
Yeah, but the way you help your defense out is by staying on the field. Sure. Your offense staying on the field and eating up clock and things of that nature. This is probably going to be the path to get to the Super Bowl. Is you're gonna have to piggyback off your defense, but in order to make your defense better, you're gonna have to eat up some of that clock during the course of these games.
Elliot, go ahead.
I would agree 100%. I was going to ask if I could throw in a rare fourth key, but I don't know if we have a bonus key. Consider it a Christmas present.
You know what? Go for the people need it.
There we go.
It's a special holiday gift. Go ahead.
Christmas came early.
Yep.
So, look, it's a basic one, but I actually think it's the most important key. I probably should have started with it. I think effort is such a massive part of this game tonight. You look at last week, they went out and made the Raiders quit in that game. And you could say, well, Elliot, that's what they normally do to those teams. Not really this year. You look at the Giants game earlier in the year on Thursday night on a short week. The Giants were the more physical team. You look at the Chicago game. Chicago came out and was the more physical team. Washington is a flawed team. They are not a good team, but they do play hard. And if you look at their last few games, the Broncos barely beat them. There was another loss they had in overtime. Like, they are a team that is still competing. So today, with Jaden Daniels officially out for the year, with Laramie Tunsil out, like, the Eagles need to come out today. By the way, it's gotten like 15 degrees colder in the past 20 minutes. So it is definitely an atmosphere where Washington's not going to want to play hard in this game tonight if you can make them quit early. But if you give them life, they are a team that will take advantage of it. So I really think the first quarter, the effort, scoring early is super, super huge in this game.
And I know it's only it's produced and it's clips, but just watching the Hard Knock series, they're still playing. I mean, they're playing for Dan Quinn, and
Agreed.
I mean, I'm sure he's trying to kind of rebuild their kind of mentality heading into next year when they get their quarterback back and make a lot of changes. So I agree, Elliot. They have to take their will early. If this game is close late, it's the Eagles' fault. I mean, they need to make sure it's not close late in the game.
I also think it's important for the Eagles' sake to put together 2 straight games, but just 2 straight games of effort as well, right? Like, I think this is a team that's gotten down on themselves throughout the year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. If it's the second quarter and they're struggling, right, and, they've talked about the bad atmosphere on the sideline. Saquon called it awful. Like, I do think playing with joy tonight is a major key in this game, and part of that is effort and being the tougher team out there.
Yeah, don't give them life. I mean, have the effort for 4 quarters and don't give them life, because in a division game, we know they're going to be up for the Eagles. We'll see that right away when this game starts. All right, coming up on the other side, you know what it's time for. Our predictions. How does it play out? Are the Eagles going to be NFC East champions by the end of the night? We'll tell you what we think coming up. It is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Hey, Eagles fans, Verizon's kicking off big savings, scoring a touchdown with low prices locked in for 3 years guaranteed on my plan. Get a single line for a low price of just $50 a month when you switch and bring your phone on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. It's a deal that'll have you doing an end zone dance. Don't get flagged for high prices. Huddle up at your local Verizon store today. You'll be tackling savings in no time. Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. $20 monthly credit applied over 36 months. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms apply. See store for details.
A strong lineup can make a good football team great. The stuff of champions. At Deborah Heart and Lung Center, our lineup is deep. Cardiologists to cardiothoracic surgeons, electrophysiology to heart failure specialists, and everywhere in between. Offense, defense, and special teams. That's why Deborah is one of the premier heart hospitals in the country, right here in South Jersey. Remember, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org.
Quality is very important here at the North Pole. You see, I checked my list once, twice. All done.
Well, Santa, quality's important to us at Nissan, too. We actually test every model thousands of times. There's the frame twist test, shaker test, corrosion test, drive load test, tug-of-war test, towing test, off-roading test, practical strength test, splash test, corrugated road test, chassis dynamics test, water intrusion test, extreme heat test, extreme cold test, rough road test, jump test, curb impact test. And physical parts tests.
Save on J.D. Power's #1 mainstream brand and new vehicle quality at the Nissan year-end event. Get 0% APR on the 2026 Nissan Rogue, 2025 Murano or Pathfinder for well-qualified buyers. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Example: 0 down payment, 60 months financing at $1,667 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary, subject to NMAC credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. Ends 1/5/26.
Operating engineers are the men and women that move mountains. And the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative, ELEC, puts them to work. They create opportunities for the men, women, and union signatory contractors of Local 825, repaving our roads, keeping our homes bright and warm, and even building our favorite team stadium. We understand infrastructure. That's why ELEC and Local 825 are ready to get to work.
Hey, this is Reeve Blankenship from the Birds. Bring home more for less at Ashley. Check out these savings.
Whether you're extending the table for guests or making your living room the heart of the holiday season, Ashley helps you carry on treasured traditions year after year. Shop holiday deals now at Ashley with 60 months no interest financing and bring comfort, style, and togetherness into every holiday celebration. Ashley, this is home.
This Eagle season, get in the game at Acme and enter their Swoop In and Win sweepstakes for your chance to win Eagles tickets, autographed jerseys, helmets, or more. Download the Acme app or visit acmemarkets.com/swoopinandwin for more details. Plus, save 5% when you shop on game days wearing your Eagles apparel. Acme makes sure Eagles fans have all their game day needs. Don't miss the featured football items of the week. General Mills cereals, buy 2, get 2 free. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
When it's game time for your business, trust Brady Plus to get you across the goal line. As a national distributor of janitorial, food service, and industrial packaging supplies, we equip your team with the right gear and the playbook to match. Fast delivery, reliable products, real pros who know the field. At Brady Plus, we don't just deliver boxes. We're calling winning plays. Visit BradyPlus.com. That's BradyPlus.com. Proud partner in sustainability of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hear Nick Sirianni's presser after the game on 94 WIP. This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, guys, how does this thing play out tonight? The Eagles go for the clinch. If they win, they are division champions. Back-to-back years, first time anyone's done in the division, Hugh, since you were playing.
Yes.
And, of course, if this doesn't go the right way, things all of a sudden get dicey because the Eagles have a game in Buffalo next week, and all that conversation we had earlier about how they play it out would be a moot point because they'd have to go win some football games.
Yeah.
But, Hugh, it's about tonight. They're a 7-point favorite on the road against the Commanders. How does this play out? Hugh Douglas, what's your prediction?
Man, I'm thinking that I really can't tell you how I think the actual points are going to be scored. I feel like Dallas Goedert is going to give us a TD. I feel like Saquon's going to have a really good day.
Well, same game parlay I might put together as you talk here.
A.J. Brown, but I'm thinking it's going to be – the Eagles are going to win the time of possession. I think it's going to be that kind of game. It's probably not going to be pretty because you're playing against the Commodores, and they're going to try to muddy the game. And I was listening to Elliott talk earlier about how – the field is all messed up. So I'm thinking 21-14 Eagles.
21-14 Eagles. All right, I'm going to go one of those scores similar, but I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring. These teams know each other. It's a shorter week, which I think sometimes can help the offenses to make more of explosive plays. And I think the Eagles are going to run all over them. I think the running we saw last week carries over. I'm going Eagles 27, Commanders 21. The NFC East ends tonight. Elliot, how does it play out?
Yeah, get the champagne bottles ready. And I hope they do celebrate after
bottles.
this. Get the hats on. Get the division T-shirts on.
Champagne, though, really?
Yes, champagne tonight. Whenever you have a chance to celebrate, you should do it. The season is about being in a good mood, and I think they'll be in a good mood after this game. I think they win the game. I'm picking the Eagles 27-19. I think they have shown momentum over the past few weeks on offense. Again, turnovers versus the Chargers, but still move the ball. They moved the ball, obviously, last week. And, look, Washington plays hard. Give them credit. They are much, much closer to the Raiders than they are a competitive team right now. So I think the Eagles continue to move the ball well on offense. I think on defense they get the job done, and they win the game. It'll be one possession, but it won't feel that close. Like I said, 27-19 Eagles, and get the champagne ready.
Now, champagne in the locker room or champagne like on the train ride home?
Whichever they want to do. Again, I'm not the celebration police. They hang banners for the division titles as well. So I would go out and, all week Nick's been saying, play with joy, enjoy going to work. Well, I know champagne makes things way more enjoyable.
Well, that's
so go out there and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I guess who am I to criticize? I hung a banner a month and a half ago that the division was over before it was even
You've been celebrating for weeks.
I have. All right, Elliot, thank you for hopping on as always and being part of the pregame show, and thanks to everyone for listening. That wraps up the Verizon pregames. Remember to stay tuned after the game for the PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Sessions postgame show with Rob Ellis and Tom Keller. They'll be with you after the game. For Hugh Douglas and Elliot Shore-Parks, along with our studio director, Mike Angeli, and our producer, Paul Baroli Jr., engineer Andrew Swank, and our studio assistants, Dan Wilson and Ryan Straub. I'm Joe Giglio. Now stay tuned for Merrill and Mike as they bring you all the action on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC. Brilliantly boring since 1865.